A lot of questions to answer on this week's programme. Would Ayr stop the 13-month unbeaten home record of Selkirk? Would Selkirk beat Ayr for the first time in the Premiership this season? Meanwhile, here at Milntown, Berwick took on Langholm. Who would get the bragging rights in National League One? All the answers coming up. Welcome to Borders Rugby Roundup from Milntown in Langholm. A little bit later on we'll be having a look at Langholm against Berwick in National League One. But let's start in the Premiership. Premier 1, Ayr against Selkirk. Grahame MacGregor was there for Borders Rugby Roundup.
Well, previously unbeaten league leaders Ayr suffered their first defeat of the season as they found out just how tough a nut Selkirk's proving to crack, especially at Philiphaugh. Selkirk dominated the first 30 minutes, but when Ayr cranked it up it looked like they were heading for their 7th straight win. They led 9-6 at the break thanks to 3 penalty goals from Fraser Harkness to 2 by David Cassidy. The players added 1 apiece after the break, but when Fraser Harkness ignited the move of the match, it saw Lee Jones go in at the corner for the only try. Cassidy converted. Climo's 5th penalty goal then set up the customary final moments of tension at Philiphaugh, but Selkirk held out to win by the narrowest of margins.
The ability to create chances against a team of Ayr, I mean, they nilled Melrose, they nilled West last week. To create chances and score, even just 16 points, it doesn't sound like much, but God, it was hard work, and the boys deserved it in the end. Again, that epitomises what Selkirk's all about this year, and everybody doubted us. You know, a lot of people doubted us, and I think today we've just stepped up and put a huge marker to everybody in this league that we're not just here to make up the numbers, we're here to compete in this division, and that's what we're all about.
Staying in Premier 1, and Melrose and Hawick were both on the road.
At the end of a scrappy first half, Currie led 14-12 through late tries by Ryan Reeves and Ross Weston, converted by Johnny Smith, while Rory Hutton had kicked 4 penalties for Hawick. Running rugby took over at the start of the second half, with Smith converting his own and Mark Cairns' tries for the home side before Stephen Anderson raced over for the Greens and Hutton converted. A penalty by Smith and a try by Coots for Hawick ended this amazing 12 minutes. Late on, Smith kicked his 2nd penalty and converted Mike Norton's try for Currie. Final score, Currie 41, Hawick 24.
Melrose achieved their 2nd win away from home this season by beating Glasgow Hawks 25-21. Jordan Macy got a brace of tries, with Scott McCormack also getting on the board. Scott White kicked 2 conversions and 2 penalties. So this is how the table looks in Premier 1 at the moment after 7 rounds. Next Saturday, Hawick are at home to Glasgow Hawks, Melrose host Stirling, and Selkirk visit West of Scotland. We'll have a look at Premier 2 in a moment, but let's go to National League 1 here at Milntown. It was Langholm against Berwick. It was a border derby which saw Langholm and Berwick meet in the league for the very first time this century. And right from the start, it was Langholm who stamped their authority on the game, scoring 3 first-half tries from Keith Davidson, David Irvin, and this one from Alistair Cavers, plus 2 conversions and a penalty by Neil Cubbin to a penalty by Matthew Hackett for Berwick. In the second half, the hosts got a try bonus from Stevie Nicol, his 5th of the season, which was converted by Cubbin. Hackett kicked another penalty for Berwick, but this was a match Langholm thoroughly deserved to win. It ended Langholm 29, Berwick 6.
We've put a good weekend at training again, and we spoke about it this morning, and on Thursday night we knew it was going to be the most physical game, which I think it probably was. There was some big hits from either team, but to score 4 tries against them, it's always a great thing to do.
Everybody in the town's talking about rugby again, and we're getting more numbers up. Last season we were struggling for numbers, but obviously that winning feeling's back and the buzz is there. It's good.
We've done everything right pre-season, or like during the week. You know, the guys are pretty positive, and we thought we could come up here and and really do a number on Langholm. But in all fairness, I thought Langholm played well. They did the basics well, they defended well, and they took their chances well. And when we had our chances, we just never seemed to create anything.
After the break, we go back to the Premiership and take a look at Division 2. Well, the big local derby in Premier 2 this week was Gala against Peebles, 2 teams that like to run the ball. Laing Speirs has this report.
There was a nervous and rather shaky start to this game, but when it did burst into life, it served up some good rugby with 3 good tries, some fine goal kicking and a heavy commitment from both sides. Gala just deserved the win because of the way in which they overcame the loss of 3 of their heaviest forwards, 2 of them involved in a nasty collision which saw stretcher bearers on the field. Peebles had in Dan Bochtwood a fine kicker who put over the penalties, and Gala had Craig Parker who did the same for them as well as scoring a try. It was a fine game and kept up the pace that is sustained in Gala-Peebles matches over recent years.
There's a real satisfaction about our result. The commitment and everything that the guys showed was outstanding.
You've got a lot of confidence at the moment, and we try to play rugby, and we came down to play rugby, and I expected a really tight, hard game, and that's exactly what we got.
With news of the other Premier 2 matches, here's Richie Gray.
Kelso had the tricky task of travelling up to Dundee to take on the league leaders, and they scored a bonus point with Hartley, Comyn, Lowry and Walsh all scoring tries, with Kevin Utterson kicking 3 conversions. But it was Dundee who won the game 42-26. Meanwhile at Riverside Park, Jedforest were after their 6th win on the trot against Hamilton. Here's Stuart McFarlane.
A workmanlike display ladled liberally with skill. This certainly was an impressive Jedforest display. A stuffy first half. They did go in leading by 10 points to 6, courtesy in the main of Robert Ferguson try 27 minutes into the match. 5 further tries in the second period. Perhaps the pick of the bunch, Gary Elder's score. But certainly Cliff Livingston, not surprisingly, was a little bit hoarse when I spoke to him after the match, but clearly was delighted to see his side chalk up their 6th consecutive win and score 6 tries.
Confidence grows and players believe in themselves, and I know when the tough times come, you stick together and you'll get through them. I mean, we'll get beat before the end of the season, I would think. It's a hard league, there's hard places to go. It's how you react from it. It's a big game for us next week, Peebles against. Nobody's going to go there and have an easy time.
In the Premier 2 table, Dundee are still top, ahead of Jed. Gala move up to 4th, with Peebles 7th and Kelso 9th. Don't forget all the classified results and fixtures for next weekend are on our website on the homepage. In National League 2, Hawick YM retained their unbeaten record with another win, this time 9-0 at home to Glasgow Accies, with Barry Hill scoring 3 penalties. In East League 1, Hawick Lundeen remain unbeaten with a win at home to Duns 44-7, while Hawick Harlequins secured their 3rd win of the season at home to North Berwick. In East League 2, all 4 Borders teams won, with St Boswell's just above Earlston in 2nd place. But the big story in that division was Walkerburn sensationally beating league leaders Edinburgh Northern away from home to get their 1st win of the season.
Well, don't forget our Borders rugby rankings from our homepage at the website. But next week, we're at the Gites again. It's Peebles against Jedforest in another local derby. Join us again for Borders Rugby Roundup.